It's another warm, windy, muggy day before changes arrive in north central Texas. Right now, we have a few showers moving through, and right now, it's all kind of a long 35 here, or really just on the east side of I-35E. We have one little kind of decent shower here that just moved through Mertens, headed up towards the Italy and Abilene area there, and it's just a few more kind of spotty showers. And I think this is pretty much going to be the story of what we'll see. I can't rule out a few rumbles of thunder this afternoon, but I think most of the activity will probably be this morning. And then as we get into later tonight, tomorrow morning, well, that's a whole other story. We'll take a look at temperatures today, and pretty much the same as what we saw yesterday, 86, 87 degrees. And then overnight tonight, we get a little cooler with that front moving through. This will be our lows in the morning once that front moves through. 64, 65. I may need to adjust that here because I think that the trends are looking later and later for frontal arrival, and we'll talk about that here in a moment, but this is just based on earlier this morning. I was so focused on getting the storms timed out for you, I didn't go back and adjust this, but honestly, we will probably see closer to 70 or so in the Corsicana area, again, just accounting for the fact that that front will take a while to get through north central Texas. Now, looking at records today, and this I double checked this, 90 degrees in 1951 for both Waco and DFW in the record books here, 73, 75 for your norms. So that's where we should be for the day before Halloween, and we are going to feel closer to that very, very soon. Allergens are right around the medium range today. Over the next few days, we'll have some more unsettled weather. That should help to kind of bring this down just a little bit, but just keep on keeping on with those remedies that you might need. So here's where things stand with the front. It is inching closer. The last couple days, you've seen it get a little closer, a little closer. It is in the state of Texas right now. It will take its time moving through, but we will see it move in early tomorrow morning. When it does, we will see a line of showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be strong to severe. But as this line moves through, I think that we're going to see this line pretty well be in a weakening trend as it's coming through. That doesn't mean we can't still see a stronger storm or two, but it's still cutting the country in half here. Cooler weather behind it, warmer temperatures ahead of it, really stretching all the way from the south to up into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, up into the Northeast. So it's a pretty good divide between this system where we see things. Now, this will not be the only chance of rain we will see. Behind it, we will have a disturbance come in after this front kind of stalls out south of us and lifts away as a warm front on Friday. Saturday, a disturbance comes through, and then Monday, Tuesday next week, we have another system coming in that will bring more active weather. So we're getting into a pretty persistent pattern here in terms of showers and thunderstorms. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. Saturday, I know, is a big day for a lot of events going on. I've had several messages and emails and things. It does look like Saturday could be a bit of a wet day. I don't think the whole day is a washout, but there could be waves off and on of showers and thunderstorms, and hopefully as we get closer the next couple of days, we'll get a better idea of timing there, but it does kind of look like just off and on periods throughout the day instead of looking at one specific line coming through. But again, we should get a better idea over the next couple of days. So let's talk about the severe weather risk. We're pretty much the same as where we were yesterday evening in terms of where this lies. That slight risk just dipping down into Johnson County there. Really, what I would tell you here is there's a slight risk, mostly north of I-20. I think that's, I hate to be so strict with the lines here. North of I-20 and really west of 35 is where I expect most of this severe weather to be. By the time you get down into our area, that line will probably be kind of falling apart. It's going to be in the coolest part of the day. If this were during the heat of the day, this would be a very different story. Now, we were talking yesterday too about that tornado threat that some social media pages were calling elevated with all big caps and really hyping that up, right? Well, we showed you that little 5% area as opposed to a 2% area. So basically in the slight risk, it was 5%. Below that was 2%. Again, those are tiny numbers anyway, but that 5% has since been lifted. So really, I'm not that concerned about it. Here's where things break down. This graphic, by the way, I looked at this before I updated it. Hadn't been used since June 3rd. That is insane. But it is back in play. Just a marginal risk. Again, I know that there's a small part of Johnson County in that slight risk area. I'm really not going to be that strict, that rigid with the lines. Tornado risk, I have it very low here. I can't rule it out, but it's not supported with this system. Damaging winds, small hail, going to be the main threats here, but again, I won't expect that to be widespread. And the flooding risk is fairly low too. Unless you get some localized flooding from a heavier storm, these are going to be moving fairly quickly and they're not going to cover a whole lot of the area, so I don't expect them to really cause too many flooding issues. Just, again, localized if you happen to have one of those heavier storms. Let's time this out for you. By 1 a.m., we'll see a pretty impressive line to our northwest, but as it moves through, you'll notice there's more of it here, but it's more segmented, not as intense. That's 4 a.m., just starting to move into our area. And by the way, I will point out, as I usually do, but it's been a while since we've covered this, this is a weather model. This is not saying it's going to be exactly in this place at exactly this time. It's an estimation, but I will point out the two short-range models we have generally agree on the timing here. So this is a pretty sure shot. Of course, those can still change between now and then, but it's nice to have that consensus. By the time we get to 7 a.m., pretty well covered in these showers and thunderstorms. Again, I expect to see a weakening trend. Doesn't mean they can't still be intense at this point. Unfortunately, it does look like it will be a wet drive to school and work for some of us. And then by 10 a.m., pretty well sticking with the timeline I had yesterday. Most of that moving out. Maybe a little bit of it still kind of hanging around, but you can see how this line pretty well falls apart as it progresses through our area. So let's look at this forecast here. Just a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. I think we could see some rumbles this afternoon. 86 degrees for your high, south winds 10 to 20. It's going to stay windy today. Front moves in early tomorrow morning with those storms. I think by 10, 11 o'clock it's out of here. Beautiful conditions for trick-or-treating, should be cooler. I don't think it's going to be too terribly windy. Could be a little bit of a north breeze there, but I'm not expecting it to be terribly windy out there. 75 for your high. What more can you ask for on Halloween? Not going to be too warm, not going to be too cool. For those really thin costumes, yeah, you might wear something under it just in case it gets a little bit chilly here, because we will be getting into the upper 50s for lows. So depending on how late you're out, it might get a little bit chilly out there, but not terrible. I remember too many Halloweens where it was either really cold or really warm, and you just could not keep the kids comfortable. Well, not really going to be a problem here. Friday, a few showers possible as that front moves northward. Saturday, showers and thunderstorms possible. They'll be scattered, could be kind of off and on through the day, but it doesn't look like a total washout here, but I'll be watching that. This is a disturbance. This is one of those smaller features. They don't always present well in the model, so sometimes it's a little harder to call this far out, but I will keep an eye on that. I know there's things like screams going on in Waxahachie, and you want the weather to be cooperative for that. So I'll be keeping an eye on that too. And I know there's several outdoor events. You expect October weather to be nice, but there's always that chance of rain. So just stay tuned the next couple of days. I'll be watching that closely. Sunday, rain chances go back down a little bit. We could have some lingering rain here, but not really expecting much. Monday, Tuesday is our next decent chance of storms. I have a 50% chance on Monday as another system moves through. This is looking like it could have a little bit more of an organized severe weather threat, so I will keep an eye on this. It's still on the far end of the forecast, so a lot can change, but I will be keeping an eye on how that goes. We're also warming up here, so closer to 80, and then by Tuesday, low 70s, and beyond that, some have us in the 60s for highs for several days, but that's beyond that 7-day forecast. I'm not that committed yet, so let's just stick with upper 70s on Monday, low 70s possible Tuesday with maybe some lingering rain. So stay tuned. I'm going to be watching the potential for these strong to severe storms in the morning. Again, not really expecting much, and they should be out of here before noon. Nice for trick-or-treating. A few more storms this weekend, and I'll be watching that deeper system moving in early next week.